Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go over a new program today. Now, for those of you who've used my Magnum program, thank you so much for trying it out. I appreciate it. If you've had success with it, that makes me really happy. So thank you and continued success with it. I have gotten some questions about, hey Grant, what would it be like if you did the Magnum settings on the deep program as a base instead of fast program? And I thought, I don't know, why don't we try it out? So I'm at a field today which is kind of perfect for that type of program because it's quiet, there's not a lot of signals, so I might want to go and punch deeper a little bit. So if you want to base it on the deep program, it's deserving of its own name, and I call it 357 Magnum. So with that said, I'm going to swing around. I'm hopefully going to find some decent signals. Again, like I said, this field is really quiet. I'm going to compare them with my regular Magnum program and the 357 Magnum program so you can hear the difference. With the deep program, it will be a little bit more punchy, maybe a little bit more noisy, but that's okay on a quiet field. I would not use this on a junky home site where there's a ton of iron. I'd stick with my standard Magnum program. Okay, let's go back to the studio and I'll go over the settings with you. All right, welcome to my studio. I am here to go over the settings for the 357 Magnum program using deep as a base. Now, just want to reiterate here that this is an experiment for me. I've never really done this before, so I'm going to test it and learn and see what we do along with you guys. So generally, if I'm on a field like this, I will take my standard Magnum program and make some adjustments. I'll bring the reactivity down to 2. I'll drop the frequency maybe down to 14 or even lower if I'm looking for really big objects. Again, with lowering reactivity to 2, I'll swing slower. I'll up the audio response to 4 or 5 to make sure those deeper or smaller targets bang through. So that's what I would normally do, but I got some questions on my last videos about, hey, well, how would the Magnum program do if we use deep as a base instead of fast? So those are the settings I'm going to go for you right now. It's really simple. You'll see it's not rocket science. You kind of just put them in and then you go and swing. Okay, so here's the simple way to go into the settings and modify it. So first you'll want to just go to the deep program on your remote, which is 6. So program number 6. Then from there, click your menu and you are going to make these adjustments. The default on this is 5.5 discrimination. I'm going to bring that down. You know, you can go as far down as you want. On a quiet site, I usually go into the negatives to get it even more punchy. So I'm going to go down to -3. You can go down more than that, but -3 is pretty good. As far as expert, you'll see it's defaulted at 2 tones. I'm going to change this to full tones because that's what I like. If you have a different preference, keep it, but I like the full tones. Sensitivity, going to keep that at 90. I'll adjust it if I need to, but I don't need to. Right now the frequency is 14.4 because I've got it connected to my HF coil. You could use the HF coil or the X35. If you're on the X35, feel free to go lower. If you're going to go really low, that's again for the really deep big targets. But you know, 14.4, 11, 8, that's pretty good when you want to go pretty deep. As far as expert, you know, you don't need to go in and do any frequency shifts unless you're getting interference. Iron volume, I keep that at 3, but it doesn't really matter because you're on full tones. So iron volume does not mean anything for full tones. Reactivity, going to keep that at 2. And remember, with reactivity of 2, you're going to have to sing slower than if you had it at 3 or 4 or 5. Audio response, I will keep that at 4 as well. You can go up to 5 if you want. Going up to 6 might be pushing it a little bit. You might be getting a little too much crackle in there. As far as going into audio overload, I like to keep that at 1. Notch, I don't touch notch. That's it. That's all you have to do for the 357 Magnum program. You'll then go into your menu and programs, and then you can save it. I'm not going to do that because I've already done that. And that is it. Those are very slight modifications, just like the Magnum program is a slight modification on the fast program. But, you know, put it in, give it a whirl, and let's go see how I do out in the field. All right, it's been a while since I filmed the intro, and I finally have a signal that's coming up as a whisper on my base Magnum program and a little bit louder on the 357 Magnum. So let's listen to both, and we'll dig it and see what it is. But I think the 357 Magnum has an extra bonus to it other than just going deep, and I'll explain that in a minute. So here we go. Right there, just a little bit of a whisper. Now when I go to 357 Magnum, right there, there we go. It's coming through more. 92 VDI. Doesn't sound great though, all right, but deep signals don't often do. But the other advantage is this could be a good way to tell me, is it deep good or deep junk? So this is a little iffy. But anyway, there you can see the VDI on the screen, I hope. And when I go back to just my regular stock Magnum, there we go, no VDI at all. And now this one was giving me a 92. Again, go back to 357 Magnum. Notice I'm swinging a little slower too. All right, let's give it a look. In the plug there. Let me go back to Magnum. Interesting, no audio on this, but because I've got a lower discrimination, could be coming through. Nothing in the hole here. Okay. What do we got here? Oh, I've seen these things before. I forget exactly what it is. It's fairly modern. It might be like a roofing kind of thing. So it wasn't bad iron. It wasn't terrible. But 357 helped me pick it up where I may have missed it on my stock program if my ears weren't as good as they are. Okay. All right, I've got another whisper on the Magnum stock program. Well, I should say stock. It's my stock program. It doesn't come stock on the dais versus the 357 Magnum. So there's your whisper. Okay. Coming through as a 95. Now if I switch over to 357 Magnum, it's punching through a little harder, right? But you see how slow I have to swing too, so there's a trade-off. All right, let's dig her up and see what we got. I think it's in the plug. Doesn't sound so great now that it's out. I have no idea what this thing is. It's super light. It's silvery. Like, my first guess would be a hot rock, but I don't know what the heck this thing is. It almost looks like really packed up aluminum foil. That's an oddity. I'll have to clean it up and see what we get out of there. All right, we've got like a, I don't know how good it is. I'm gonna dig it. I'll show you how it sounds in my regular Magnum program and also 357, which of course is making it a little bit more punchier, but it sounds even worse. So that could be an indicator that that program is really helpful in saying, oh, I've got a deep iffy, and now it's gonna tell me it's garbage. Or it just sounds different and I'm not used to it. So let's take a look. See here, barely there with my Magnum program. You'll see I've switched the HF coil. That's fine, doesn't matter what coil you want to use. And now I'm going to 357 Magnum. Punchier, right? Still doesn't sound great, but I'm not going to miss that signal. So, and it's giving me a 97 on the VDI, which Yeah, I doubt it's deep silver. It's probably iron, but let's give it a dig and see what we got. Chunky iron there. I don't know that there's anything in the hole now. So let's see. No, it's probably the iron that was over here. All right, it was a crappy signal anyway. All right, finally came across a nice little whisper. So here we go in my standard Magnum program. Just a teeny little indicator that something there, and it's saying 96 on the VDI, and I'm at 27 frequency. So let's go into 357 Magnum. A little punchier. VDI is 90, 92. That's expected because it's a lower frequency, so it's going to show me a lower VDI. So let's dig it and see what we got. Still down there. Still down there. All right, let's get the MI6 out. Not picking anything up. Dig a little bit more. Nada. Oh, here we go in the wall. Let's see. What do we got? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? A penny. Oh boy. It's a modern penny. Unbelievable. Oh well, it was down there pretty good, so. Hey, thanks for watching and learning with me. I think this program has some merit. It's going to take me some time to get used to, especially since I'm not a normal user of the standard deep program. So it's not what I'm accustomed to. I've got to listen to things differently. But that's the great thing about the XP Deus is you can modify things, you can test, you can learn, and you can go back to the same properties with different settings, and it's almost like having an entirely new metal detector. And I'd really like your help on this one. I would like you to go in and put these settings in your detector, go out and swing and film some stuff. Send me some clips. I will include them in a future video. So I've got information in the description below on what to send and where to send it, so that when I get to the part 3 of this video, because I'm already working on part 2. Part 3, I would like to feature some of your videos in here, and you can be honest. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? For now, what I really like about it is if I'm getting that whisper or that iffy signal, I can switch over to this, and it's giving me a better indication if it's worth digging or not. Is it a ferrous target or a non-ferrous target? Is it broken? Things like that. So I think there's a lot of merit in that, because you can just easily click a button and switch over to it. As far as going deeper and slower, again, getting used to those things. So, help me out and help your community out. Send me some stuff, and I'll do my best to include it. So stay tuned soon for part 2.